Imagine moving to a country where taking your baby to daycare doesn't break the bank. Often it costs less than a fraction of what many parents pay elsewhere. Why does Denmark heavily subsidize childcare, and how could that change your life if you moved here? For many parents around the world, childcare feels like a second rent, a financial burden so heavy it can force one parent to stay home or delay their career. But in Denmark, families don't face that impossible choice. Here, affordable, high-quality childcare is not a luxury, it's a right. So how did Denmark make that possible when so many other countries still struggle? To help us out, be sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Remember, you can buy our ebooks on denmarkexplained.com/products or click the link in the description. Sustainability and green energy. Viking heritage. Welfare system. New Nordic food. Welcome to Denmark Explained, your front row seat to the hidden gems, quirky traditions, and powerful stories that make Danish culture truly unforgettable. Imagine living in a place where having children doesn't mean sacrificing your career or financial stability. In Denmark, that's not a dream, it's daily life. Here, childcare isn't just available, it's an essential part of the social structure. Every child, from 6 months old until school age, is guaranteed a place in a high-quality daycare center or preschool. That's right, guaranteed. Now, why would a small country make such a big promise? The answer lies in a powerful belief that investing early in children creates stronger families, a smarter workforce, and a more equal society. We'll get deeper into that later. Let's start with the numbers. Over 90% of toddlers in Denmark are enrolled in some form of childcare, one of the highest rates in the world. Parents only pay up to 25% of the total cost, and many low-income families pay nothing at all. The rest, covered by the state and municipalities. It's not charity, it's policy. Here's something to think about. In Denmark, childcare is viewed as a right, not a privilege. Compare that to many other countries where parents juggle long waiting lists or impossible fees. Imagine how different family life feels when you can actually afford to work, study, or build a career without worrying about your child's care. And it's not just about affordability. Danish childcare centers are designed around learning through play, nurturing curiosity, empathy, and creativity from the start. Most have small class sizes, with about 1 adult for every 3 children under 3. That means every child is seen, heard, and supported. We'll return to how that shapes Denmark's next generation in a moment. There's a hidden benefit too: women's participation in the workforce. More than 80% of mothers in Denmark are employed, thanks in large part to reliable childcare. That's one of the highest rates in the entire European Union. So, when you see Denmark topping global happiness and equality charts, it's not just luck. It's strategy, built on the simple but profound idea that when you support families early, everyone benefits later. Earlier, I mentioned that the government caps parental payments and provides further subsidies. Let's zoom in and see how much you'd actually pay, and how the system adjusts for different income levels. What if every dollar your government spent actually made $2 back? That's essentially what Denmark has achieved through its childcare system. It's not just a social service, it's an investment engine. By making childcare affordable, Denmark has unlocked something powerful: higher employment, stronger families, and long-term economic growth. Let's start with a simple truth: when parents can work, the whole country benefits. In Denmark, over 3/4 of parents with children under 6 are in full-time jobs. Affordable childcare means mothers don't have to choose between career and family, and fathers are equally encouraged to take part in family life. That balance has helped push female employment rates to some of the highest in Europe. Here's something most people don't realize: this isn't costing the country, it's earning it money. Working parents contribute billions in tax revenue each year, easily offsetting the cost of the childcare subsidies. Studies show that for every 1 krona invested in childcare, Denmark gains between 1 and 2 kroner back through higher productivity and future economic output. That's an impressive return, right? And the ripple effects go further. Because childcare is reliable and high quality, employers also benefit. Companies report better productivity and lower staff turnover because parents aren't constantly juggling unstable care arrangements. Imagine the peace of mind that gives to both workers and employers. Now, think about equality. When both parents can pursue careers, gender gaps start to close, and Denmark ranks among the very top in Europe for gender equality. But that's not just a number. It's visible in everyday life. Men taking paternity leave, women leading businesses, and families thriving on shared responsibility. Even education outcomes improve. Children who attend early childcare programs develop stronger language and social skills, reducing early learning gaps by nearly 1/3. And we'll circle back to how that connects to Denmark's education system in the next chapter. So yes, childcare is heavily subsidized, but it's also one of the smartest economic moves a nation can make. It supports parents today while building the skilled, creative citizens of tomorrow. Here's something to think about. You get to choose between two priorities in your ideal country. Lower taxes but higher out-of-pocket childcare costs, or higher taxes but very low cost, or free childcare for children. Which one sounds more attractive to you, and why? Option A or Option B? Share your choice in the comments. I'd love to discuss your reasoning with you. Planning a trip to Denmark? Or maybe you're moving there soon? Don't just Google your way through it. Let DenmarkExplained.com be your shortcut to a smoother, smarter, and way more fun experience. At DenmarkExplained.com/products, you'll find itineraries, ready-made plans that turn confusion into unforgettable days. eBooks, packed with local insights, cultural tips, and everyday know-how. No boring history lessons, just stuff that actually helps. Expat guides, moving to Denmark? Get the info you wish someone told you before you landed. Everything's digital, everything's simple, and everything's designed to make Denmark feel less confusing, and way more cozy. So skip the stress, and get the guides that explain Denmark, clearly, cleverly, and in plain English. Check it out now at DenmarkExplained.com/products. Your trip, our tips, let's make it amazing. To help us out, be sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Remember, you can buy our ebooks on DenmarkExplained.com/products or click the link in the description. You've seen theory, structure, and numbers. But how does it feel for real families? What do parents actually save, and what trade-offs exist? If there's one word that defines Denmark, it's trust. Trust in people, in the system, and in the future. But that trust doesn't just appear, it's built, slowly and intentionally, from the earliest years of life. And one of the key places it begins is in childcare. Every morning, thousands of parents drop off their children knowing they'll be cared for, guided, and encouraged. That confidence isn't blind faith. It's earned through a well-trained workforce and consistent quality standards. Every educator working with young children holds a full degree in early childhood education. That means childcare isn't babysitting, it's the foundation of learning and character development. Here's a fascinating insight. Studies show that countries with strong early education systems also rank highest in social trust. In Denmark, more than 3/4 of adults say they trust most people, one of the highest rates in the world. Why? Because children grow up learning cooperation, empathy, and shared responsibility from day one. Let's take a closer look at the long-term impact. Children who attend quality childcare are more likely to perform well in school, have lower anxiety levels, and even face fewer issues with bullying later on. These early experiences don't just shape students, they shape citizens. And we'll connect this idea to Denmark's sense of community in the next part. Parents are also part of the system. Around 2/3 participate in local boards or activities at their childcare centers. That level of involvement creates a real partnership, families and educators working together, not apart. It builds social cohesion that carries forward into workplaces, neighborhoods, and even politics. And the results are clear. Denmark ranks among the top countries globally for child well-being, reading readiness, and social mobility. Kids from disadvantaged families still have a real shot at success because support starts early, not when problems appear later. So, when people talk about the Danish model, this is what they mean: a society built on early investment, trust, and collaboration. The seeds of social stability are planted in preschools and kindergartens. One story time, one friendship, one small act of care at a time. We've covered system, mechanism, impact. Now, let's bring it home. What might this look like for you if you moved to Copenhagen, Aarhus, or another Danish city? And what practical steps should you take? What if the future of a country could be seen in its playgrounds? In Denmark, that idea isn't just poetic, it's policy. The childcare system isn't only about helping families today, it's about preparing the next generation to thrive in a changing world. Over the past decade, public funding for childcare has grown steadily. This isn't random spending, it's a deliberate investment in long-term national growth. The government sees early education as the foundation of future innovation, sustainability, and equality. In fact, studies show that these early investments contribute over 1% to long-term GDP growth. That's a huge payoff for something that begins with building blocks and picture books. Here's where it gets really interesting. Childcare in Denmark has evolved into a launchpad for modern skills. Many centers now include early exposure to science, technology, and digital learning tools. Kids don't sit in front of screens all day, but they're introduced to problem-solving and creativity through technology. We'll touch on how that connects to Denmark's global innovation rankings in a moment. And it's not just about technology. Around 80% of childcare centers follow eco-friendly and sustainability-focused programs. Children learn from the start how nature, responsibility, and community are connected. Imagine a generation that grows up seeing recycling, energy saving, and climate care as normal parts of life. That's Denmark's goal. There's another dimension too, inclusion. Nearly a third of children in urban centers come from multicultural backgrounds, and most reach fluency in Danish by school age. That's not only integration, it's opportunity. By creating an equal start for everyone, the system supports both social harmony and long-term economic resilience. Behind all this progress are the educators, highly trained, deeply respected, and motivated. With satisfaction rates above 85%, their stability ensures that the system keeps improving year after year. So when you look at Denmark's steady growth, its balanced cities, and its strong sense of togetherness, it's not just policy at work. It's the result of decades of planting seeds early. Thanks for watching. If you're curious about how this compares with childcare in other Nordic countries, click on the playlist to your right. I'll see you in the next video.